Guys, the most what's the word? The most compromised FBI director of all time, Robert Mueller. He's dead. He's dead, guys. We got him. Trump got him. Trump got the last laugh. Somehow Trump outlived him, I guess. So yeah, apparently Robert Mueller, for those unaware, the Mueller investigation was a huge deal back in the day. That was back in, I guess, the Trump 1 era, um, where they were just investigating Trump's ties to Russia. It's around, if you know, the whole Russia Gate sort of situation. And I think that he came out and said that he didn't have any, uh, like there was no actionable offense or something, if I remember correctly. But anyway, Trump got him. He's dead. We assume of natural causes, but with Trump, you never know. So let's see. Let's see what happens. What happened? This is, or we're gonna watch Trump's reaction. So this is Trump reaction to ex-FBI chief's death. Debasement of public life in U.S. Expert says. France 24.
With American lawyer and public prosecutor Reed Browdy. He joins us right now. Reed, thanks so much. Just on those Truth Social comments, can I just get your reaction?
Well, it just how far we have fallen in the United States under Donald Trump. I mean, for a
True.
president to respond to the death of a distinguished FBI director with that kind of language tells you everything you need to know about the debasement of public life in the United States. I mean, Robert Mueller represents a model of institutional integrity and independence that frankly feels increasingly distant today. I mean, this
Ah,
was a
dude, we're way past
Republican
that.
who was appointed to the FBI by George Bush. He was kept on by Barack Obama.
Stupid.
He was trusted.
Stupid. Democrats, stop doing this shit. Stop trying to like hold on to quote unquote the good Republicans or whatever. Toss them to the curb.
Across party lines. I mean, I didn't
Stupid. No,
necessarily
never, never, never go across party lines. When you're dealing with fascists, never, ever, 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 ever. You defeat them, you smash them into dust, and you kick them to the curb. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only way a functioning society can function, is if you kick your fascists and Nazis to the curb and crush them into dust.
agree with everything he did, but he embodied this idea that law enforcement doesn't serve the president. I mean, he stood up when I mean, he was the FBI director on 9/11, but when George Bush uh, put in this NSA, National Security Agency surveillance program, he went to George Bush and threatened to resign if he did not pull back. And you know, you compare that with what we have
It's
today.
just
I
so,
mean,
sorry, this is some bullshit. Like there, so okay, yeah, there was a bygone era of like people not being as absurd and vulgar as Trump, but all of these freaks also, like including Robert Mueller, were all entrenched in power. They were all wheeling and dealing in the circles of the elites. Even if he was threatening that, like it still happened. Like he didn't stop it. Like and so I don't know. Like these forces that are behind the scenes of our country are a lot bigger than any one individual. I don't lose any sleep about someone like Robert Mueller like dying, and I also don't give a shit if Trump bad mouths him or like talk shit on him because I also talk shit on him a lot.
Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, you know, somebody who is a political operative who didn't get any Democratic votes for confirmation, you know, who pledged to use the FBI to go after Donald Trump's political enemies, you know, who amplified election denying stuff. You know, you just compare.
Yeah, I mean, it's the degradation of our system under fascism as the stupids ascend to power and the stupids take the reins. We have a podcaster as our FBI chief. Yeah, they're only being chosen for being sycophantic to Trump, and yes, they are going to use that power to brutalize their opponents. Now, my argument would be the Democrats should have been doing this a long time ago. Not in the exact same way or whatever, but they should have been punishing their enemies for being like for being fucking fascist freaks. Like if they had punished the Bushes, uh, like use the full force of the FBI to punish the Bush administration, everybody who was involved in getting us into Iraq, all that sort of stuff. If Obama had done that, we would live in a much different world. If we started throwing all of these like election, election manipulating right wing freaks into the like into jail or whatever, then yeah, we would live in a whole another world where there's actually consequences for people of power. But all of these people, including Robert Mueller, were way too scared of ever doing anything like that. And that's exactly why we are living in the world that we do today. So it's not like you shouldn't be giving these people credit. They were the ones who literally like set the stage for what we are currently living through by failing to ever go after the people who fucked up our society. But yeah, anyway, sorry my voice is going out.
Compare what this man represented um, and what we're seeing in Washington today, the total politicization of institutions. And it's like a bygone era, Robert Mueller.
I mean, it even led to
Bye bye.
praise from Barack Obama, calling him one of the FBI's finest directors who saved countless of lives. And that speaks
Obama
to your point. And it also speaks to the polarization because obviously
shouldn't be doing that. No, we don't need them. We don't care. That's the way. Like we need to get a true like anti-fascist sort of like person in charge of the FBI to start rounding up all of these freaks and throwing them in jail. So
we can trace this back to the Trump Russia scandal of 2016. Mueller declined to indict Trump, and that might be one of his legacies. In his final statements, though, he said, if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president clearly did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state, based on the facts and the applicable legal standards.
yeah, this is stupid too. Okay, so the Russia thing, like they shouldn't have gone after him for Russia or whatever, because there are so many other forms of corruption that he did and does, and they should have indicted him for all of those things, like other, like not necessarily the Russia shit or whatever. Um, but they were too scared to actually go after him for the real crimes they did, because guess what? The Democrats also do a lot of those same crimes. The Democrats also, I don't know, profit off of their public service or like their public professional life or whatever in Congress and stuff. The Democrats also get absurd amounts of money from shady ass places when they go and do their speaking arrangements, and they go and do their book signings and book deals and shit, and they get paid to, I don't know, go speak at Martha's Vineyard. Like all of these, there's so much corruption at every level. And so the reason that they couldn't go after him for a real crime and they went after him for the Russia shit is because that was seen as like, outside of the normal bounds of like what's acceptable in terms of the corruption of public officials. It's a classic case of like the Democrats, they don't want to go after Republicans for something that they, because they also participated and they want to still be able to participate in. Like if we get a true person who's going to go in there and start rounding up all these freaks and actually charging them with crimes and throwing them in jail, or for some stuff that people do, like giving them the death penalty and shit, like then we might finally start to live in a better, more just world. But until that day, we have to keep living through this shit show.
we are unable to reach that judgment. That is the legacy that he left behind with that particular case. Was that a legal necessity, though, or a political calculation? Is that how he's going to be remembered?
Well, it may be. I mean, he was very cautious. Um, I think he could be criticized for not pushing harder on obstruction of justice.
I
You know,
forgot.
he
Sorry, I forgot why it was obstruction of justice. What? I don't know, man. I don't know if he did any actual obstruction of justice. Maybe he did. The citing said the reasoning that he gave was that you can't indict a sitting president, which is like, okay, well, that's not a real reason not to charge someone with a crime. That's not like, so I don't really know, but I just feel like they tied it all to the Russia shit, and I just don't think that was the right strategy. They should have just uh, maybe that obstruction of justice was not related to Russia shit. I don't know.
as you say, he concluded that he had evidence of obstruction, but he refused to charge Trump with that. And he cited Department of Justice policy not to indict a sitting president. Um, I think he should have made and he also got played by by the Attorney General at the time, William Barr. I mean, he gave Barr the report, and he led it to William Barr to tell the public what the report said. And Barr said basically the report is clear Donald Trump, which it didn't. And Mueller wrote a confidential letter to Barr saying you're distorting what I wrote. But he didn't even go public with
See, I
that.
think wasn't that before the 2016 election? Wasn't that why everybody was angry? Am I remembering all this right? I can't remember. Sorry,
So,
guys.
it again, it's this in some ways an excessive fair play on Mueller's part that was the
Classic.
contrast with the high
Classic Democrats trying to play by the fucking rules when the Republicans have completely destroyed and moved past that yeah, that's just a classic Democrat move because they love to just roll over and die. That's their favorite thing.
hyper partisanship you're seeing today, where the Justice Department and the FBI are just, I mean, Trump has a list of people who he wants to prosecute, and without evidence or on the flimsiest of evidence, actually, in some cases, as with the former FBI Director James Comey or with Letitia James, no evidence.
Just on a final note, he has now passed away at the age of 81. What lessons should the Justice
Bozo.
Department draw from Mueller's meticulous yet now polarizing approach?
Well, I think the lesson is, that the United States and justice is better served by by adhering to the law and to the Constitution. I mean, today we
No shit. That's literally what it is. Like
see a
it's
government,
just
whether it's the Justice Department, the FBI, the Department of Defense, which is totally there to be loyal to the man in the White House. This is a moment of where you have a complete takeover of the government to serve one man's desires and one man's interests.
But like he wasn't the only one who did this though. Who was Biden's Merrick Garland or whatever? He was supposed to be prosecuting Trump for his crimes in the 2016 administration. And he just sat on it and he just didn't do it because he thought it would look too political or whatever. And this is just the constant thing that happens because the Democrats are scared of ever actually holding anyone in power like accountable because they're scared of being held accountable themselves. That is why. That is why they pussyfoot around this shit. You need to not be afraid of that. Like if you are right and just and you are going after these people for crimes and they have committed these crimes and you throw them in jail, and then if you are clean and you have not committed crimes, you should not be worried at all. Sure, maybe someone will come in the future and be like politically persecute you or whatever and like go after you and try to throw you in jail for no reason. But we're seeing our justice or our judicial system at least somewhat hold those things back. Like they have tried to go after Letitia James for bogus ass charges or whatever. Like for her home that she had as like an apartment or something. I don't know. They tried to go after her, and a grand jury didn't even indict her. And grand juries indict everything. So our judicial system will likely prevent you getting the same treatment for no reason. So just like the Democrats, listen to me. Don't do illegal shit, and then you prosecute all the other people for doing illegal shit. Like that's the solution here. That's how we get our society back on track.